Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and my new beekeeping experience. I just received two components that will help me out with a very important element of beekeeping, and that's the ventilation of the hive. The standard hive has the solid bottom, and it also helps out with mites, not to go off on a tangent here, but what I have is a screened bottom board, and I have another custom-made component that will fit between the hive body and the top cover, and it provides ventilation also. So you have some good airflow, and evidently good airflow is related to honey production too. So this is the bottom board, and the bottom board is a combination of helping with ventilation and also helping with mites. When the bees go off foraging, these mites attach themselves to the bee, and the bees do clean themselves and remove mites, but if they just fall to the bottom of a solid board, they're still in the hive and can reattach themselves to bees. So this is a screen bottom board, but what it also allows you to do is you have contact paper that you can add that will, the mites will stick to. But they also have these, I don't know if it's the contact paper itself, but you have grids, and allows you to count the mites so you can see what the infestation level is, or whether or not you need to start treating more seriously to control the mites, because the bees aren't able to do it themselves. So here's a piece of foam board, I don't know what they call this, but there's the screen bottom. And so this comes out, looks like this had an extra. So this can slide in and out of these slots here. And you could add the contact paper to this surface. But what you can do is just leave this open, and when the mites fall off of the bees, they fall onto the ground and out of the hive. This here is by Dana Bee Farm. Already painted, so I don't have to paint. Let's take a look at the other component. So this here, again, goes between the hive body and the top cover. And the holes are off center, I guess, because when you put the cover on, it goes down to here, and you still have these holes that aren't covered up. So not only do you get airflow, and it keeps critters from being able to get into the hive, but you have the side airflow. So you have two guards here. They can't get through the hole, and even if they get through that somehow, I guess you want to keep the bees from even getting to this point. Another feature of this is that evidently a very important part of winterizing your beehive is trying to prevent condensation, because bees can take very cold temperatures, but what happens is they're not warming up the whole hive. What they do is they form this big compact ball around the queen, and then they're constantly cycling from the outside bees going to the inside bees coming outside, and they keep on cycling this ball, this mass of bees. But what happens is you have, like if you have hot coffee and you go outside, you get condensation whenever you have these two different air masses meeting, and the condensation is going to form inside the lid of the hive, and it will drip. So one of the things people do is they tilt the beehive so that the condensation drips to either the back or the front. So you can fill this with wood shavings, and I guess the wood shavings will absorb the condensation on the top cover, and if they drip, they go onto the wood shavings. So it's not necessarily the extreme cold that is going to kill your bees. It's going to be a combination of extreme cold and condensation dripping onto the mass of bees. So if you're able to prevent that, you have more likelihood of success for your bees to survive to the spring. So all I have to do is put a coat of paint on this. And I don't know, I do have another thing that I have that I want to do today is a Pro Bee patty. I think it's pollen and other essential vitamins and B+. Supposed to be good for the bees, and it comes between two pieces of wax paper, and I guess you leave the paper on and just put that in the hive, but I don't know if I should disturb the hive. So yep, these are two components that are going to help out with ventilation, which is a very important part of beekeeping to keep your bees happy and healthy, and also help them survive the winter. This component, at least, by helping prevent condensation dripping on the mass of bees that will engulf the queen, keeping her warm throughout the winter. I'm sure there's some attrition that happens, but I'm guessing their metabolism slows down considerably, and they just feed off their honey stores. And as long as they're not wet, in addition to cold, they're able to survive through the winter. So this is New England Gardening on my new beekeeping adventure. Thanks for watching.